Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. Here is my media feed. Here is my profile so that you will know it's me. And here is my merchandise. We are rolling out new merchandise this month and for the rest of the year. So now let me get to why everybody is here. And we are going to talk about Super Bowl 60. A champion was announced last night. And before I get into the highlights, and this is going to be a very quick show. Well, I'm not going to say that it's going to be a very quick show, but the Seattle Seahawks, they did what they were supposed to do. They were the favorite for throughout the entirety of the week, and they did not disappoint. Sam Darnold, 19 of 38, 202 yards, one touchdown, zero interceptions. Kenneth Walker, 27 carries, 135 yards. He was also the Super Bowl MVP. Then you have the Seattle Seahawks receiving core. Everybody had at least 7 yards or more. Everybody had at least 7 yards or more. And then we get to the point where throughout the game, it seemed like that this had like signs of a blowout because it was 6-0, then it was 9-0, and then it became 12-0, then 19-0. And I was saying that the Seahawks, I'm like, they may blow the Patriots out. But like I said, 6 of the last 7 times both of these teams have been playing each other, it didn't end in a blowout. And this game, it did not end in a blowout. So, team statistics. Now, the Patriots' third down offense was terrible. But the Seahawks offense on third down was terrible too. Third down efficiency for the Seattle Seahawks, they were 4 of 16. Third down efficiency for the Patriots, they were 6 of 15. So basically, when we get to and penalties in red zone, it was pretty much it was pretty much not a not a penalty field game, but Seahawks had 4 penalties for 25 yards. Patriots had 3 penalties for 25 yards. And now we are going to look at the game in a short form stat. This was Super Bowl 60. There were so many celebrities, past Super Bowl MVPs right there at the game. So before we get to it, here it is. Seattle starts off the game. This is the second quarter, middle of the second quarter. They're up by 6, and it was pretty much nothing that the Patriots could do on offense throughout the first 3 quarters of the game. And with Seattle, it seems like the only thing that they could do in the first half was kick field goals, and Jason Myers, Seattle Seahawks kicker, he holds the record now for most made field goals in a Super Bowl with 4. Well, excuse me, with 5. So now, Seattle, they made history last night. They have their second Super Bowl championship in franchise history. This is also this may be the last Super Bowl under the current ownership, because allegedly Jody Allen and the Seahawks, they are up for sale. And I don't know if that is true or not, but if the Seahawks are up for sale, they were led by some great ownership. They were led by the Allen family. Paul Allen, he actually passed away back in 2018. He had a hand in Microsoft, so that family always knew what they were doing when it comes to business. When it comes to business, they always knew. But now we get to the last few minutes of this game, and pretty much Sam Darnold, he was lucky not to throw any interceptions last night, because that was one interception that he could have thrown. There was one on the first drive of the game where it seemed like that he was going to throw an interception, but the defender dropped the ball, and it was pretty much that kind of game. It was like Seattle had lucky breaks, and New England, they couldn't get a lucky break to save the game last night. As you can see right here, this was probably one of their best plays of the entire night from a Patriots standpoint. And I just believe that the Patriots, they waited too late to start their offense and to start generating some points. I actually said it. I actually said that the Patriots, they needed to call some trick plays and possibly go for it on fourth down. There were quite a few people that I was watching the game with said that it is too early, but I said that you still have a goose egg on the board. So if I was the head coach for the Patriots, even though I'm playing against the best defense in the NFL, I am going to try to go for it on 4th and 1. And it was quite a few times where the Patriots were in short yardage situations where they did not go for it. And defensively, they could have gotten a few more sacks on Sam Darnold. But as you saw right there, he was able to get out of harm's way and run for a first down. Here it is, Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. That was supposed to be a 4-yard loss, but he turned it into an 18-yard gain. Here it is, 3rd and 9, and this was one of the telltale signs all night. No offense could really go down the field and score at will. And this is Jason Myers with one of his 5 field goals that he made throughout the night. Then we get back to the Patriots. Now, Drake May, he is a good quarterback. Has always been a good quarterback. Even when he was at even when he was at North Carolina, he was a good quarterback. But coming into the season, I said that the Patriots were a couple of years away from being a formidable playoff opponent and a championship contender. But the Patriots exceeded all expectations, and now the Patriots, they have a little bit of a problem on their hands, because since they made it to the Super Bowl, they are going to be picking 31st in the upcoming draft. And what the New England Patriots need, here's their list of needs. They need a good offensive line. That's one. They need a top-notch wide receiver. I know Stephon Diggs is there, and there's a possibility where he may not come back in a few months. We already know that the off-season training and also the OTAs and mini camps, that starts in April. But there is so much time between now and April, and we also have so much to talk about in free agency in the coming weeks. But as far as the New England Patriots, they need wide receivers. They have a good defensive front and a good defensive lineup. But as far as offensively, a new offensive line, well, I'm not going to say a new offensive line, but better offensive line play, better wide receivers, and they need better running back play, because last night, I would say for about a good 37 to 42 minutes, the Patriots offense was hard to watch. Look at this. Drake May, back to pass, he fumbles, and that was one of the turnovers that the Patriots committed in the game, and this was pretty much when Seattle was up by 12 and the Patriots fumbled. I was pretty much saying that the game was over by this point because the Patriots were not able to generate any offense up until this point. As you can see, the score tells you that. And now we get to the point where it's 3rd down and 9. This was like their third first down of the game for Seattle on a 3rd down. And I believe that this is the touchdown that pretty much blew the game wide open, and they went up 19-0, and it was pretty much uphill for the Patriots at this point. It was pretty much uphill. 2nd and 4, Drake May goes back to pass, and he throws to Mac Hollins for a 25-yard gain down to the 35. This was the Patriots' biggest play of the game, and Drake May goes back to pass again and throws a 35-yard touchdown to Mac Hollins again, or as I like to call him, the barefooted wide receiver. If he had a chance to play barefoot in an NFL game, he would. Now, he had a good season with the Patriots. I don't know whether he is coming back or not, but he had 2 big catches that I would say got New England back into the game, but we already knew that the Patriots, they weren't making a comeback. Sam Darnold back to pass, and he throws a first down. He throws it to Rashid Shaheed for a first down. Now, Jackson Smith-Njigba, he had a nagging injury. He was not able to play the entirety of the game, but he said one thing that he wanted was a championship, and he got the championship. Because at the end, when you get to this point, it doesn't matter about the accolades or how many yards you get. Only thing you want is a championship and the trophy. And that is what the Seahawks did. Now, here's 3rd and 11. This was pretty much, Shaheed had a step on the defender, but they did not connect. So this point right here, I'm looking at this game, it is 19-7, and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, if the Patriots go down the field and score, we potentially have a game on our hands. Now, 2nd and 10, Drake May goes back to pass, and he throws it to his running back, and he gets a first down. See, Drake May, this is only his 2nd year, and I don't want anybody to say that Drake May does not belong in the NFL, because he does. He does. They just ran into a better team with a better defense and a better offense. That is exactly what this all boils down to. And when you have a team that is a little bit better when it comes to phases, like Seattle's defense and Seattle's offense. Now, there were times in this game where the Seattle offense couldn't get out of their own way. But in the 4th quarter, when the defense had to step up for the Seahawks, they ended up stepping up in a big way. For the Patriots, their future outlook. I'm going to do future outlooks now. For the Patriots' future outlook, let's see who all they have in store that they are going to have to deal with going into next season. Well, the Patriots, they're going to have to deal with Buffalo. They're going to have to deal with the Chiefs, Ravens, and also the Chargers. Now, the Chargers, they have offensive line problems just like the Patriots do. You're going to have to deal with the Patriots. They're going to have to deal with Houston. They're going to have to deal with Jacksonville. Jacksonville is not taking a step back. I am not. I don't see Jacksonville taking a step back, and I don't even see. I don't even see teams that the Patriots played in the playoffs. I don't think that they are taking a step back. But historically, we already know that the team, that wins the championship, they already have a tough road trying to get back to the championship. But historically, the runner up in the championship has a even greater difficulty of getting back to the championship because nobody expects them to get back to the championship. Now, like I said last night in my 3-minute reaction video, the Patriots are back. And when I say back, I mean as them getting to the playoffs year in and year out. The Patriots are going to get to the playoffs next season too. Already. You can already book that. So, but the Patriots getting back to the Super Bowl next year, I'm not going to say for certain, and I'm not even going to say for certain that the Seahawks get back, because Seahawks, their road is a whole lot. The Patriots' road is tough, but the Seahawks, they got to face the 49ers. They have the Green Bay Packers. You have the Chicago Bears. You have the Detroit Lions. Let's see. Also, you also have the Rams in your division. You have the Arizona Cardinals, but who knows? Arizona, they may not be able to be a formidable playoff foe, but that's just one of the teams that is standing in the Seahawks' way for a repeat. But all in all, one thing that I can say, this was a very, very entertaining season. This was a season where there was no clear-cut favorite at all. Every week going into the season, every week, whether it was week 1 to the championship weekend, it seemed like every game that you had to watch, it was watchable. Because when the Chiefs got knocked out, everybody was watching the playoffs. Now, you had the Chiefs get knocked out, you had the Eagles get knocked out. This was one of the most, I'm going to say, entertaining playoffs in recent NFL history, because you didn't know who was going to win from one week to the next, even in the regular season. Now, there are going to be some teams that are going to be dark horses for the playoffs going into next season, but obviously it is way too early for me to give my predictions for the 2026 NFL season. 2025 NFL season has concluded. Your Super Bowl champions are the Seattle Seahawks for the second time in franchise history. The Seattle Seahawks are reportedly up for sale, and I don't know who is going to get the Seattle Seahawks, but we have a lot of black billionaires out there, and I would like for the NFL to hear out some of these black billionaires, because and I do mean we as a people, as black people, we have got to have more people at those ownership tables, whether it's NFL, NHL, MLB, whatever. We need more black people at the ownership tables in these leagues. And I do like what I am seeing. Magic Johnson, he is already at the ownership table for the Washington Commanders. Let's add somebody else. Let's add another African American in there in the NFL so that we can be a part of those ownership meetings and we can have a bigger voice. So now, with that is my reaction to Super Bowl 60 and to the 2025 NFL season. NFL season is over with. Up next for the NFL, it is the NFL Combine, and we also have NFL free agency. This is not the end of me talking about the NFL, so please, audience, we have a whole lot more information about the NFL that we have to cover. And also, the NFL this coming season, they will be playing games in Germany, in Australia, in London, and in Brazil. So, the international series for the NFL has expanded. I am going to get into that more and more at a later date. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the key on millions.co. Here is my merchandise. We will be rolling out new merchandise later on this month and for the rest of the year. Here is my profile so that you will know it's me. And here is my media feed so that you can listen to my most recent clips, sound bites, and segments from the NFL season. And now we are turning the page to college basketball and to NBA basketball, because within 6 weeks, the NBA playoffs will be here, and later on next month, March Madness will be here. So, NFL is pretty much, NFL season is over with. Now, let's start talking about basketball. And remember, everybody, one last thing. The key is always on time.